So I've been using Claude Code for some time now, and honestly most content out there misses the crucial point. Nobody's talking about how this whole thing changed your role as a developer. My name is Illya, and today I'm sharing what actually transformed my workflow. Before we dive into tips, here is the mindset change. You are not a coder anymore. You are an architect. You are a technical manager. You are leading AI developers, not just writing every line code yourself. Once you get this, everything else clicks. Tip number one is the proper setup. You need to set it up properly to make it convenient and effective. Here's what works for me. I usually place it on the left, where I would have my cursor agent. I also installed VS Code extension, and now I'm able to see the differences when it's making changes. It also is able to see my current open file. Find what works for you, but don't skip this step. If you are coming from Cursor or Copilot, you would need to change the way you work. Before starting any feature, I usually create a text file where I outline every specific task I would need to do in scope of this feature. So this outlining phase is actually brainstorming with your agent. Ask it to break down the feature into small actionable tasks, and in the end you will have a document with a plan. The workflow becomes explore, plan, code and commit, not just code first approach. The next one is about Claude.md. Everyone knows about this file, but here is what they miss. Update it during your sessions. When you discover a new requirement or any specifics of your project, add them into the file. The tip number 4 is reasoning depth. This might sound unusual, but there are 4 specific words that unlock reasoning depth. It's think hard, think harder, and ultra think. Use these words during your planning phase. Let's say, ultra think how this feature should integrate into the existing architecture. The next one is multi-agent parallel development. Here is where it gets powerful. Once you've got your project plan, you can say, spin up multiple sub-agents and implement this project plan in parallel. Claude literally spins up multiple tasks, background tasks. Let's say one can handle backend, another one can handle frontend, let's say the third one handles tests and documentation. So personally for me, here is where the big change was. With Claude, you have this autonomous agent that handles everything in parallel, in background, and you just come back after some time and you got your feature ready. Tip number 6 is visual-driven development. Instead of describing UI changes in words, you can just capture a screenshot, save it as a file and reference it in the chat. Then you've got it as a context and you can ask any changes you want, any issues you experience now. This is much more efficient than just verbose descriptions. The next one is strategic context management. Even though Claude Code doesn't optimize the context as other agents do, that's why we actually have better results, still there are limits. So you've got this context window, and when it's getting closer to this window, it tries to shrink the context. So you can use this /clear to clear the context and start fresh. Remember, we've created that project plan.md, so now it's perfect time to reference it after you've cleared the context. It's actually a good solution for long-term development sessions. Tip number 8, multi-terminal architecture. Sometimes I run multiple Claude terminals in parallel. So how is it different from running multiple sub-agents in background? With this one, you've got a chance to have a clear context for each terminal, and you can prime your agent to have any role you want. The first terminal is a developer, the second terminal is a tester, the third one is just for writing documentation. There is another cool feature you can use in combination with this one. Imagine you've got 2 terminals and you want to make them communicate with each other. For that, you just create 2 files, make the first terminal write into the first file and read from the second file, and vice versa, make the second terminal write to the second file and read from the first file. Now they are able to chat and work as a team autonomously. Tip number 9 is repository cloning strategy. If you want to work on multiple features at the same time, you can clone your repo multiple times and create separate branches. One branch for one repo, another branch for another repo, and so on. Now you can make Claude code run in each terminal in each repository and work on several features at the same time. And the last point I want to mention today is limitations. Let's be realistic. There are still tokens limitations, and especially if you are on lower pricing plans. I ran out of tokens in 30 minutes of extensive usage of Opus model. Also, the built-in text editor lacks navigation and selection. It's understandable, of course, it's a CLI tool, but it would be nice to have kind of UI, a better UI at least for manipulating this text. And one last, I think you cannot reference untitled files, meaning the files that were not saved. In Cursor you could do that, but here no. In my opinion, these are minor trade-offs for autonomous development. That's what's actually working for me: the systematic approach, the paradigm shift from a coder to an architect, and multiple sub-agents working in parallel. Try at least one feature if you haven't used it before. I would recommend anything from running multiple agents simultaneously or in parallel. This is what fundamentally changes how you think about the development. And tell me what your experience has been. Thank you for watching and see you later.